Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Smith from Backbench Coder. Okay, so in this video we are going to talk about Redux hooks. So there are mainly three hooks offered by Redux: use store, use dispatch, and the third one is use selector. So let's talk about this one by one. And by the way guys, this is the continuation of the series converting your pure React app to a React Redux app. Okay, so currently we are communicating with the Redux store using this connect higher order function. So now I'll substitute this connect function using the Redux hook. Okay, so before I convert this to Redux hooks, let me tell you what's happening here. This is a create node component, and this create node component creates a node and then dispatch this through add new node. This is an action creator which is passed through connect component, and as this is passed through connect component, this is available in our property. So I can just destructure this add new node and then just call this. Really simple. Okay, so let's substitute this. So basically I am dispatching this, right? So I'll just comment this out. First of all, copy this so that you can just compare this, and yeah, nice. So here I don't need this connect, connect, and this create node, nice. And as I am not passing this through connect, I'll not get this as a property. So add new node, nice. So I need to dispatch this add new node action creator, right? So for that I will import a hook which is use dispatch from React Redux, and I don't need this connect by the way. Okay, so let's define this use dispatch, and it will give me the dispatch function. So const dispatch, that's it. And now I can dispatch this add new node. Dispatch, just wrap this add new node. That's it. Quite simple. So just let me double check this by creating a new node. New node, add node, nice. Look at this new node. So I can just use an use dispatch hook, and that will dispatch the action creator to a reducer. I don't need to go through this map dispatch to props and all. And then let's implement this use selector. So go to this all nodes component where I am getting these nodes using map state to props, and then I'm passing this map state to props to connect, and that connect will convert this to a property, and I can destructure this in my all nodes. So I'll just comment this out and then export default all nodes, all nodes. Yeah, so I'm not passing this through connect, it means I'll not get this as a property. Nice. Now to use selector, we need to import this from React Redux, so I don't need this connect. I'll import this use selector. Okay, so let's talk about this use selector. Use selector is almost equivalent to the map state to props, and why I'm saying almost, I'll talk about this in a minute. So first of all, let's implement use selector. So use selector, declare this, and we need to pass a selector function inside this use selector, and that selector function is quite simple. The selector function gets the full Redux state as an argument state, and then I can extract whatever the values I want from the Redux state. So in this case I want state dot the name of the reducer is nodes reducer, right? Okay, so nodes reducer dot nodes, and I'll put this in nodes. So const nodes, that's it. Let's double check this, go to the browser. Yeah, working fine. And now there is a main difference between this use selector and the map state to props, and that is this connect function uses a shallow comparison to check if the state should be re-rendered or not, while this use selector uses strict comparison, and for that it is recommended to use separate selector function to extract separate data. And what I mean by that, so let's say you have another reducer which is, let's say, auth reducer, and you want to get the data from the single selector function. So just return an object like this. Yeah, so let's say you want to get nodes using state.nodeReducer.nodes, and you also want to get the user info, or let's say user. So state.auth reducer, the name of the reducer. Although there is no auth reducer in my app, just for demonstrating, user, just put a comma, and then you are destructuring this here. So nodes comma user. Now you can get the data using this technique, but this is not recommended at all because useSelector use a strict compare function, so it takes all those values and compare every data, which force the component to re-render. So what is recommended is, I'll just undo this. Okay, so what is recommended is to use separate selector function for separate data. So let's say I want to get auth reducer. So auth reducer dot user, and then I'll put this in user. Okay, so use this technique when you need to get multiple data from the Redux store. Cool. So you get the idea, right? So you can just convert every connect function to Redux hooks. Now let's talk about what is more preferable. Okay, so let's talk about these Redux hooks first. So if you use Redux hooks, this is quite straightforward, right? So you just declare your Redux hook and just communicate with the Redux state directly. That's it. In this case, you just need to write less boilerplate code, but you are coupling your React component with the Redux state. On the other hand, if you are using this connect function to communicate with the Redux state, you need to write a little boilerplate code, but on the other hand, you are decoupling the Redux state from this React component, which is easier to maintain the Redux state and the React component, and it is also a great advantage when you are testing your component using some component testing tools like Storybooks or something like that. And if I talk about me, I like to use this connect function to communicate with the Redux state, because let's say if I want to see what are the props or what are the data, what are the action creators coming from the Redux state, I just need to check this connect function and I will see this map state to props and map dispatch to props, what are the props or actions coming from the Redux state. And this is more maintainable, it is easier to debugging. So I'll leave this up to you what you want to use for your next React project. I mean, overall both are more or less the same thing. So just keep this in mind that while using this useSelector, you will make separate useSelector hooks to get the data from the Redux state. And by the way guys, there is another hook which is called useStore, and this will give me all the data related to the Redux store. Let's put this in store, and by the way guys, notice that this useStore is auto imported from React Redux, and then log this out, log store, and that will give me all the information related to the store. And then to get the state, I'll be using get state. That's it. If you call this function, this will return you all the state of the Redux. So let's just log this out for a cross check. Let's refresh this again. Here, look at this. So my nodes reducer, all my states. So you can get the same data by importing the store and then call store.getState. It will return the same data. So that's it. That's all I wanted to tell you about Redux hooks. And again guys, you can use either Redux hooks or connect. This is more or less the same. Okay, so if you are new to this channel, I make videos on web development and web designing. So if it sounds interesting, please subscribe my channel. And yeah, that's it. Bye.